All right, Shannon, you are the expert on all things Lakers. Weigh in here. Can you see a Kyrie for Russ trade actually going down?
Skip, I think it's a problem for a problem. I think the Brooklyn Nets wants to move on from Kyrie Irving. Skip, they're tired. I mean, from what I've been reading, they're tired of him, the way he behaves, not just on the court. Skip, if they can ever get him on the court with the vaccine mandate and him not taking CTO choice time off, in the way he treats teammates in front of. Now, that could be a fabrication. That could be them trying to paint Kyrie in a negative light. But I'm just saying, from the indication that's been seeping out of the building, is that they do not like the way Kyrie Irving has behaved. Now, we know now, Skip, it's a lot easier to believe what he said, considering how it ended in Cleveland, how it ended in Boston, and how it's going to end in Brooklyn. So it makes it a lot easier for you to believe that Kyrie has sometimes been less than professional. Russ, it didn't work. I don't think anybody thought it would work because you got two guys that need the ball. Kyrie Irving works better with LeBron because why, Skip? He's a 50, 40, 90 guy. He can shoot 50% from the floor, 40% from the three, 90% from the free throw line. He can catch and shoot. He can dance with the ball. He got way better handles. He's not the facility. He's not the assist guy that Russ is. He's not going to get you the rebounds that Russ does. But I think offensively, and the way he would fit with LeBron and AD, I think it's a better fit. Yes. So it would be a beneficial trade for both teams. Now, it seems to me the Lakers want Seth Curry. The Nets want to throw in Joe Harris with an injury history. And I don't know if people remember this. Joe Harris once did play with LeBron, and he couldn't throw it in the ocean. Do you remember that Milwaukee series, Skip? When them lights got really, really bright, and they was counting on Joe Harris, he didn't come. That's why they went out and got Patty Mills in free agency. Because that's why they really wanted Seth Curry in the trade. Because they want somebody when the lights are shining brightest, they can knock down those shots and not in meaningless ball games on a Tuesday night, in championship caliber ball game. So for me, Skip, yeah, it seems to me that this would be a no-brainer. It's a problem for a problem. The thing is, you don't know if and when Kyrie's going to play. The one thing you know about Russ, he's going to play every game. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but you're going to be able to count on him every single night. So it makes perfect sense to me. And LeBron James should be rooting for it. Why would he not be wanting a player like Kyrie, who he's had success with? Understands, Kyrie is very mercurial. It's very hard, Kyrie, when you're in a team setting, for the behavior. Some days you're about, some days you're friendly and talking, and you go weeks upon weeks without speaking to anyone. It's very difficult. But Skip, I think this would be, if there's a trade to be made, I think it's this, because I think it's a problem for a problem.
And I say Shannon Sharpe is speaking like a delusional Laker fan. This is an insane question because it's an insane concept to me. Why, in the name of Kevin Durant, would anybody in the NBA want Russell Westbrook right now? Why would anybody, unless you're my Spurs, who apparently are just cratering. They just want to start completely over. Unless you just want the expiring 47 point, whatever it is, $4 million, point one or whatever it is. Okay, well, let's call it $47 million expiring contract. That is the only reason to acquire him, because he can't play. Period. Can't play,
Skip,
period.
Skip, he can play, Skip.
No,
he just can't play in the situation that he's currently in.
Sorry.
He needs,
can't play.
You're right. With your Spurs, with a team that there's no expectations, and he can go play like he did at OKC in Washington, you're absolutely right. You watch what he does with a team like that. Put him on a team like Orlando. Put him on a team where there's no expectations, and we're not going to have a highlight blooper of him turning the ball over 7 times. And watch what he does.
Watch what he does?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I watched what he did. I used to watch what he did in Oklahoma City, and I would think that was a disaster for Kevin Durant, which is why I always defended Kevin till he started criticizing me for defending him against Russ. That's a whole nother issue. My point is, if anybody watched the Lakers like we watched the Lakers last year, you saw a guy who can't play. You saw a guy who was last in the whole NBA in three-point shooting percentage. He finished dead last at 29.8%. You saw a guy who was 4th worst in the whole NBA in free throw shooting percentage, 66.7. That's even worse, way worse than LeBron. And you saw a guy who, until the last 3 games, when he sat for the first time all year, he took 1 game off because he pouted 1 game, but he took the last 3 games off. Those were the 3 games in which Trae Young managed to catch and pass him in overall turnovers.
Right.
So he led the league in turnovers for all but the last 3 games of the year.
Right.
You agreed, worst hands you've ever seen on any point guard ever. It's a nightmare of turnovers and missed shots because he doesn't just miss shots. He misses them so badly, they're comically sad misses.
Yeah.
So why would anybody wish this upon themselves? Why would the Brooklyn Nets go from let's spend a first to go get Royce O'Neal to shore up our defense? Let's go ahead and re-sign Claxton and Patty Mills and various other pieces.
Right.
And then say, oh, and let's give up Kyrie basically head up unless we have to throw in different salaries. But basically, it's let's trade Kyrie for Russ. Who would do that in their right mind? Because you're starting over if you're going to do that. If Kevin is gone, the problem with trading Kevin Durant is there's no way you get Kevin Durant back for Kevin Durant.
No.
You can get all these players, even if you do your pie-in-the-sky Golden State. You know, you can get Jordan Poole and Wiggins and Kuminga and Wiseman, and you can get all those guys, and you still don't have Kevin Durant.
True.
I'm sorry.
True. But that's what happens when you lose a guy like that, Skip. You never get equal value.
Okay, so if you do that trade and you get all those guys, and then you say, and let's get Russell Westbrook, and we'll insert him at point guard with Jordan Poole and Kuminga and Wiggins and Wiseman. That'll be our starting lineup. They'll be terrible because Russ will be terrible. Nobody wants this. It's horrendous unless my Spurs, who are just completely tanking next year, say we need the expiring contract because it appears that they're hunkering down, trying to get through next year. They just gave up, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, they just gave up their best player, DeJounte Murray. They gave him away basically for future firsts. They gave him away.
Who they look like they're going to waive.
They'll just waive him because it's a salary dump, okay? And what are they trying to do? They're hoping to hit the lottery next year because there's that French kid who's like 7'2", and maybe he'll change the world. Right. I don't know, but that's what they're doing. They're the only team where I could say, oh, I get that. But you're telling me the Brooklyn Nets would go from their preseason betting favorites just a year ago to we're starting over with Russell Westbrook just because we want an expiring contract?
Plus, Skip, you're going to get a first-round pick. They're trying to get,
but it's 27 and 29.
Yeah.
That's all the Lakers have left.
That's all they got left.
Okay, well, who wants any of that?
Yeah, y'all
it's
want
forever. And Jeannie Buss doesn't want to give the picks up. And I'm like, it's 22 right now. We're talking about 5 years and 7 years from now.
Yeah, Jeannie.
What?
Jeannie, if you don't start winning, you might not be in control.
I would say. So to me, I have no idea why the Nets would do this. The Nets are going to go from first to worst. That's where we're angling.
Skip, well, you know, that's what happens, Skip. You lose a guy like Kevin Durant for the most of the time, unless you have, I mean, when he left OKC, it took Russ having a historic season to get them, the 4th seed or the 5th seed. And he was, 31, 11, and 12, or 31, 12, and 10 as far as the triple-double. So when you lose a guy like Kevin Durant, if you lose a guy like Kyrie, Skip, what the hell you think is going to happen? No. Ben Simmons is not going to get you to the playoffs with that roster. No, I'm sorry.
And I want to remind everybody, Russ is going on 34 years of age in November. He's played now 14 full seasons, and he played. I know he had the one knee issue,
right.
but he plays.
Yeah.
He was willing to play all 82 last year until things went south. My point is, he's got a lot of mileage on him. He's got LeBron-esque mileage through 14 years. And you were the first to point out he's losing some athleticism.
Yeah.
And he survives on athleticism.
Right.
It's what makes him go.
Yeah.
If he can just simply get to the rim faster than anybody can stop him, he was pretty good.
But don't you think, Skip, without the expectations of playing alongside LeBron and having to share, he's not a cutout to be a third option. And somehow, I don't know what he thought he was going to get into, Skip, coming to the Lakers, where he thought he was going to be the first or second option. He had to have known that LeBron, AD, 1-2, 2-1, whichever one.
I got it.
What was he thinking, Skip?
I don't know what LeBron was thinking to think that it would work, because even you said, no, LeBron. No. And here we went. And now you're stuck. LeBron.
No, we ain't stuck. We got to get off it, Skip. Okay, you see the rumbling. You hear the rumblings out there.
It's just delusional.
You don't want us to get rid of him. Okay. You want us to suffer.
Okay, I don't want you to suffer. And now let's flip it around. What does Kyrie have left? He's got a lot left. Again, he's a goofy kid sometimes.
Yeah.
He goes way over here and way over
Yeah.
here, and I'm never sure about his passion or his commitment or his priorities. But can he play? We saw the fourth quarter of game one against the Celtics. What did he do? He had 18 points.
Yeah.
He's still got the handle. He still can make shots.
He averaged 27, 6, and 4.
And if he wants to be with LeBron, and LeBron is reportedly rooting for Kyrie to join them, it's a match made in championship heaven. No, seriously. It would put you back on the map, especially if you could figure out how to keep Anthony Davis. Now, to me, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm saying, well, you know, you go to the top. Do you want Kevin Durant for Anthony? Then I would consider that. See, I would do that deal.
But you already said Kevin Durant doesn't want to play with LeBron.
He doesn't want to go there.
Okay, so.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
oh, the Lakers would do that deal.
Okay, then secondarily.
But it'd be over. That wouldn't even be fair.
Would the Lakers send Anthony Davis for Kyrie? I don't think they would.
No.
All right, but if they could somehow finagle the Brooklyn Nets into just capsizing and saying, yeah, here, we'll give you basically Russ straight up, you know, for, Kyrie straight up for Russell Westbrook. Well, then, if you can have Kyrie and LeBron and AD, now you're back in business.
Absolutely. Skip, I just think the thing is, look, I don't know if Brooklyn is going to be as accommodating to Kyrie and where his destination needs to be as opposed to Kevin Durant. Now, it seems to me that, like the reports came out, that they're working with Kevin's representative, Rich Kleiman, to get him to his preferred destination. I'm not necessarily sure they're working with Kyrie, his dad, his mother-in-law, or whomever his representatives are, like they're diligently working with Kevin Durant to get him to his ultimate destination.
The point is, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are in business to win championships for the Lakers, right?
But here's the thing, Skip. You got to move Kyrie because he's going to walk out the door next year for nothing. And do you want him pouting? Skip, remember now, everything was great. He had his guy with him, and he showed up half the time. Can you imagine what it's going to be like if KD's not there and he wants to be out and you forcing them to play?
Okay, but I'm just telling you right here, I would love to see Kyrie with LeBron because it'd be great for business. It would just be fun. It would be great soap opera.
Yeah.
But are you telling me that the Nets can't get more than Russell Westbrook back for Kyrie? Because they can get way more.
Skip, given what we've seen over Kyrie and the Cleveland situation, the Boston situation, and how it played out publicly this year, Skip, they're not lining up, Skip.
He can play if he wants to play.
Yes.
Okay.
But when does he want to?
I don't know. Who knows? There's nobody knows.
See, that's the thing. The team's like, I'm not going to get in business with that.
It is a very good question indeed. I know this. Josiah, Sean Marks, no holiday for them. Their phones are lighting up all day.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.